Hello, my name is Rod Kowecki. I'm a theoretical physicist. That is my hobby. I have some college, but a lot of my research is done at home. And I find the big difference between home research and school or college and even universities that your mind is not open. It's limited. It's limited to what you read in the books and what the professor or teacher explains about how what the book says reads. So you learn what the book is telling you. Open mind, on the other hand, is your own interpretation. You know, a good example is the interpretation of some great scientists had no open mind. Their ideas were framed to be by somebody else's, of which it almost usually has to have. What I'm saying is a lot of early 17th century scientists or physicists or theorists explain theoretical physics through the myths of mythology, the gods, interpretation of the way they lived at the time, what was allowed to be read at the time, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ because Christianity was not allowed or was something new that they felt didn't fit into that time and day. And all these things are barriers to close what an open mind allows you. You read somebody's literature and you formulate it into believing that it is physically true. The mathematics physically back up what the person is saying, but who is to say that what he's talking about is relatively true or false, pro or con? Einstein developed a theory on time. He interwoven time with space, and made it a fabric. Space, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, but it's there. It's around us. It's everywhere. Time, in essence, is the same thing. It just exists. We use it as a length of measurement. It takes so much time to get from A to B. So much time to get from one corner to the next corner. Space does not have no real time coordinates. It's only that the space in between from A to B is you have to walk it, and it takes so much effort if time did not exist. But in any degree, the interwoven of time and space, which Einstein calls SpaceTime, is, like I said, it's interwoven together with based on the not the coordinates, but the equations for for alpha and beta light waves. We have light waves that they're up and down light waves, and they coordinate each cycle in a second. Now Einstein decided, well, the same coordinates as light waves is everything else that exists that has energy. Energy is made up of light and light waves because it's energy, you know. And Einstein decided that space and time were interwoven due to these light waves, positive and negative light waves, one contradicting the other one. He went further to explain that an alpha wave goes forward in time and a beta wave travels backwards in time simultaneously at the same time as light moves from one point to the next, from A point to B. He interwoven that with space as a coordinates tool we use based on a single second and time acting simultaneously as a whole. That no matter what, and no matter how small the distance or length between A and B, or how far it is coordinated by time. So space, in essence, is time. That is one of his papers on special relativity, that he explains the essence of a time formula that explains how time exists, which is very, very physically, theoretically, it's pretty convincing, pretty good tool to use. Be able to use a clock in your hand and time your distance between point A and point B destination. If you're driving it or walking it or whatever, or traveling in space in a car. The idea that they are interwoven, meaning that one does not exist without the other, is a different matter, you know. Interwoven means it's like mixed together. You can't have one without the other, even though they both exist by themselves, neutrally, you know. Time can exist as itself, as a measurement or coordinates between 2 points, and space can exist by itself between 2 points, but you have to use time to measure that coordinates. So in that way, time is interwoven with space. But one thing about Einstein predicted that that space was flat, you know. And he also said that, he didn't say, the idea is that light, of which he measures the coordinates of the universe, is fixed. So you put light, which is time, and space together, and you have a limited universe. Light is fixed. It's a fixed velocity. So that means that space is fixed. The universe is only so big. Infinite to us, but as a whole and in theoretical ideas, it is fixed. It's so big, it gets older, but it doesn't get bigger, which means it ages. Okay, so now we get into age. The idea about age in theoretical physics, time, space, is that space is expanding. So is time expanding? Universe is getting bigger. It's not fixed. It's expanding, getting larger. My work on research in advanced physics has to do with the quantum physics theory, which explains 2 or 3 different models about the universe. You have inflation, you have Einstein's flat space universe, which I have been explaining, because relativity is one of the greatest achievements in modern physics known today. And then you have the Hubble round type universe. And then we have to look at the 3-dimensional idea. According to Einstein, if flat is space, it's 1, maybe 2-dimensional. And it's limited. It has a limit of length relative to the speed of light. So you take a 3-dimensional idea and multiply it by the speed of light in billions, and you have 13.8 billion years. But there's a way to do that, but I just don't have it in my brain right now. But the idea that the universe is enlarging, it's getting bigger. The space the universe exists with is getting bigger. Even in that tells you something about space and the origin of space. We have a space inside of a space. We have galaxies inside the space of a universe. We have a universe in its own space relative inside some other form of terrain or fabric. My book explains all of that. If you ever get to read my next coming up book about an open universe, a closed universe, and the 3 or 4 different models that exist. What one of Einstein's predicaments was that the speed of light was the same no matter wherever you look at it. Yeah, that's vaguely true, but light is not matter, and matter is not light. The interwoven idea of time and space is that space and time, which is energy, are interwoven into matter, which means space, time, matter, and the molecular structure of all matter are all woven in some way together. And I explain that in my book and how that actually works. give you a new idea of how the universe evolved, what it evolved from, theoretically, looking at the facts, the pressure, the critical mass that took place for the Big Bang. I mean, what, it did just happen? You know? According to the standard theory, everything just happened from nowhere, from nothing. And they're trying to create a universe out of something that was nothing, you know. But they're doing a very good job, let me tell you. So my view is a little bit different than that. And to go further, my idea relies on a round type universe, something that looks like a basketball spinning. Since space and time are interwoven, and according to Einstein, space pushes matter away from it. According to Einstein, this is an activity between positive and negative energies. But reluctantly, you don't have to have energy to measure how much something is getting bigger or expanding, like the universe is expanding. The space in the universe is expanding. Even the matter in the universe is expanding. You know, at a much smaller degree, you know. And by perspective, that can even be measured using my equations that I have for the expansion of the universe, that weight and measure with Erwin Howard's idea on how fast the universe is expanding or being pushed apart. But reluctantly, energy is not the whole solution, because energy at one point, even though it's got all these names, we're talking about an energy of electrical type current. You know, let's look at the ocean. It has a current relative to the existence of the moon that makes it currents. But is that energy? Is that energy, or is it pressure between the Earth's spin, the moon, and the universe's spin relative to the Earth and the moon? You know, energy does not have to be, you know, the existence between both. You stick an energy micrometer or whatever in the water, and it reads zero. You know, you turn it on in the air, and it reads zero. You know, so there's no energy there. There's no positive, negative interaction. And aside from that, the Earth is so large that, compared to the moon, that the only interaction would be the Earth towards the moon, you know. But you could say that the moon is in the way of the sun, you know, on the other side of the Earth. But any degree, what I'm saying is, when you go into space, we detect zero energy. So energy is not the result of the activity or of the forces that act in space. In my book, I explain the forces that that exist other than that, and even using them same forces, those effects and activities from energy and matter between the planets and stars. There's a lot of more activity out there than you think, you know. And I'll tell you something, man. The activity of those forces that are in play are not from A to B. There's nothing in the middle. It's only that because A is in one place, B is in the other place. And just because of that, it's like A is making B swell up, or B is making A shrink. So the interaction is the intermediate action between the two celestials acting on their own because of the presence of the other one. The incitation, or induction due to these, let's say, two celestials present near each other or whatever, is an effect that formally cannot be measured. It's there. It's part of the realm. It exists, but in essence, it's either so small that we cannot detect it, or it's intermediate with the space that exists between it, meaning that space is like a lake between two round marbles, where one, it makes it, as the universe spins, it pushes it deep into the space, and deep enough to where it doesn't come out anymore. It's like the dominant planet has pushed the Earth deep in space to where it doesn't feel it anymore. But if it peeks its head out, then it's going to be pushed back down. And so the Earth stays exactly where it is. It's an interaction of similar masses, which means the two masses are from the Big Bang. Everything was created all from a singularity, and the idea, between those singularities is the mass, but to a point to where the mass can stay away to where it doesn't have to interact with the other secondary mass. Since it's pushed away as similar, and there's no induction to make it want to advance and be attracted, then it stays away. That's not hard to understand, is it? Anyways, the speed of light, in my universe, the speed of light is faster than light speed. Space travel is possible. It's possible because if we have the physical propulsion engine capacity to travel the speed of light, we can. And it allows us to. The space allows us to. And I've also created some barriers in the same essence about gravity and space, where Earth gravity, Newton's theory of 9.8 meters a second during free fall, every second, over and over again till it reaches the bottom, the velocity increases. It's my belief that the same activity is relative to space. Space has a certain interaction with matter that exists. But again, we have to look at the space like I said earlier. We have a galactic space field, which is with all the planets and stars and solar systems. Then we have a universal space field with nothing but galaxies, one over there, one over there. They're all separated the same as the planets and stars are separated. And then we have a universe that's sitting somewhere by itself, possibly among other universes that exist. But anyways, this is just an introduction of what I'm talking about. And I go into great depth, and I also show you the mathematics and equations that I formed that show how fast a mass can travel through space. I achieved those mathematical equations for that, thanks to Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, and Erwin Hubbard.